Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Srinagar connectivity push gets huge boost with Prime Minister Narendra Modi set to inaugurate multiple infrastructure projects, Chenab Bridge, Anji Bridge and Vande Bharat trains to ensure seamless rail connectivity with the Kashmir Valley. US markets tank as row between US President Donald Trump and Elon Musk erupts in public view. Both fire insulting salvos. Trump threatens to cut government contracts. Musk threatens to cut space program. Trump confirms a China trip after speaking with counterpart Xi Jinping, claims a trade deal is in a good shape. China stresses the need to correct the course of ties. Trade officials from both sides to meet soon. India to host the 4th India-Central Asia Dialogue in New Delhi today, focus on strengthening regional cooperation with discussions covering trade, connectivity, technology and development partnerships. And in sports, world number 1 Arna Sabalenka dethrones 4 times champion Iga Swiatek to reach the French Open final. Will face Coco Gauff, who ended Louis Boisson's dream run at the Grand Slam. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 46,000 crore rupee Jammu and Kashmir development projects, including the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link and India's first cable-stayed Anji Bridge. The high-speed Vande Bharat Express trains will cut travel time between Katra and Srinagar to 3 to 4 hours, even in harsh winters, thanks to advanced technology. More in our next report.
Not many regions on this planet are synonymous with the phrase paradise on earth, but India's Jammu and Kashmir truly is paradise on earth. To improve connectivity to this breathtaking part of India with the rest of the country, the Indian Railways has completed a rail link using state-of-the-art facilities and technology. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday will dedicate the rail corridor between Srinagar and Katra to the nation. Along with the rail project, Prime Minister Modi will also lay the foundation stone and dedicate to the nation multiple development projects totaling nearly 46,000 crore rupees. The Katra-Srinagar rail project is the key highlight among all these projects, providing the direct rail connectivity to Jammu and Kashmir. The Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link project will provide uninterrupted all-weather rail access to the Kashmir Valley. Adding to this transformative infrastructure, India's first cable-stayed rail bridge, the Anji Bridge, will also be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Furthermore, the high-speed Vande Bharat Express will now connect Mata Vaishno Devi Katra station in Srinagar in just 3 to 4 hours. Among the many marvels of this ambitious rail project, the Chenab Arch Bridge stands out as the tallest arch bridge in the world, soaring 359 meters high.
Bridge का design 260 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटा विंड स्पीड, 260 किलोमीटर पर आवर विंड स्पीड और जो जोन 5 सिस्मिक जोन के हिसाब से उसका डिज़ाइन है, यानी एक बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रोसेस से इसका डिज़ाइन किया गया है. इसकी फाउंडेशन देखो, अगर आप फाउंडेशन फुटबॉल फील्ड के आधे के बराबर है. 30,000 टन स्टील लगा है.
The entire Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link project, costing 43,780 crore rupees, stretches over 272 kilometers and includes 36 tunnels and 943 bridges. Notably, it features India's longest transportation tunnel, T50, which spans 12.77 kilometers. Recognizing the harsh winter conditions of the valley, Indian Railways has also introduced an all-weather friendly special Vande Bharat train. Bureau Report, DD India.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will host the foreign ministers of 4 Central Asian leaders at the 4th India-Central Asia Dialogue in New Delhi today. The dialogue will focus on strengthening regional cooperation with discussions covering trade, connectivity, technology and development partnerships. The ministers will also exchange views on regional security and other pressing regional and global issues of mutual interest. Ahead of the ministerial dialogue, the visiting foreign ministers of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan participated in the India-Central Asia Business Council Forum on Thursday. Where highlighting the significance of the relationship, Dr. Jaishankar noted that India and Central Asian countries, as part of each other's extended neighbourhood, share deep-rooted historical, cultural and people-to-people ties spanning millennia. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor is now in its final leg. Out of 7 multi-party delegations carrying the message of India's principled and resolute stand against terrorism, 5 delegations have now returned after concluding their successful visit to their respective countries. In Washington, D.C., Shashi Tharoor's delegation engaged with Vice President J.D. Vance on anti-terrorism cooperation. The two sides met with their delegation, holding comprehensive discussions over a wide array of critical issues, from counter-terrorism efforts to enhancing technological cooperation. Tharoor later termed the meeting as a truly constructive and productive exchange for strengthening India-US strategic partnership with a great meeting of minds. Later, the Indian delegation in the US also interacted with members of various think tanks at the embassy. The conversation focused on India's fight against terrorism and the multifaceted partnership.
We will not allow people to cross the border and kill our citizens with impunity. That for terror strikes like this, which show all the hallmarks of meticulous planning and military-style execution, that there will be a price to pay. And that was very strongly the message that we sent. As I say, we're very happy to get back to the business of development. We wish our neighbors would do the same and focus on their own internal issues, rather than inflicting this pain on us. But if they do, we will be there to respond.
While in Belgium, all-party parliamentary delegation led by Ravi Shankar Prasad concluded a very successful and substantive visit to Brussels. During the stay, the team held a range of engagements across political, diplomatic, diaspora and strategic spheres. They also reaffirmed the depth of India-European Union ties and shared resolve against terrorism.
पूरे ब्रसल्स में, यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट में बेल्जियम के पदाधिकारियों, विदेश विभाग, यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट सबसे मिलने के बाद एक निष्कर्ष लगा कि आतंकवाद की चिंता से वो भी परेशान है। और हम ही सांसदों को सुनने के बाद उनको कई स्थिति स्पष्ट हुई है कि आतंकवाद दुनिया के लिए नासूर है। भारत एक इकोनॉमिक पावर हाउस है, ये भी रखा, और पाकिस्तान के जनरल उस देश को एक मिलिट्री टेररिस्ट नेक्सस से चलाते हैं। इन बातों को समझा जो लोकतंत्र के लिए, इंसानियत के लिए, मानवता के लिए खतरा है।
The 6th edition of Indian Air Force Japan Air Self-Defense Force Air Staff Talks concluded in Tokyo on Thursday. The 3-day talks were co-chaired by Air Vice Marshal Rahul Bhasin of the Indian Air Force and Major General Kubota Takahiro of JASDF. The talks underscored the growing synergy between the two air forces through joint training, exchanges and professional military education. The Indian Air Force delegation leader also called on the Indian ambassador to Japan, Sibi George. India's Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister J.P. Nadda reviewed the availability and distribution of fertilizers during the Kharif season at a high-level meeting on Thursday. During the meeting, Nadda underscored the critical role of agriculture in ensuring food security for the nation. He highlighted the importance of ensuring the timely availability of essential nutrients to support crop productivity. The minister was briefed on the current status of fertilizer supplies and preparations for the Kharif season 2025. Further, to bridge the gap between demand and domestic supply, Indian fertilizer companies have secured tie-ups with prominent exporters of fertilizers in Saudi Arabia, Morocco and Russia, ensuring steady imports throughout the year. The Government of India has decided to hold the census exercise in 2026-27 with the completion on 1st March 2027, the reference date for the census. In a series of tweets on social media, social media platform X, Ministry of Home Affairs informed that adequate budget has been ensured by Home Minister Amit Shah, who has clarified on many occasions that in delimitation exercise, concerns of southern states will be taken care of and discussed with all concerned at an appropriate time. The ministry also said that earlier census to 2021 was to be conducted and all preparations for the census were completed. However, due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic across the country, the census work was postponed. The aftershock of COVID-19 continued for quite some time. COVID disrupted all sectors, including education. Around 30 lakh enumerators are needed for census. Enumerators, who are primary school teachers, are key persons for conducting the census. Conducting census after COVID could have disrupted primary education immensely. Countries which conducted their census immediately after COVID-19 faced issues on quality and coverage of census data. The middle class is often called the backbone of Indian society and is finally finding its voice in welfare narratives. In a historic shift, policies are being drafted for the middle income group at the centre, which aims at transforming their quality of life. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay brings us this report.
As India rises on the strength of its people, the middle class stands at the forefront, turning their aspirations and ambitions into achievements that shape the nation's identity. Marking 11 years in power, the NDA government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, shared a report on June 5 that highlights its efforts to support the middle class and improve their well-being. Recent initiatives signal a paradigm shift. Over the past 11 years, income tax policies have steadily provided meaningful relief to the Indian middle class. Even in the recent Union Budget 2025-26, individuals earning up to 12 lakh rupees annually were exempted from paying taxes, a significant measure to empower the Indian middle class. The Modi government's welfare schemes were complemented by prudent fiscal policies, which helped in taming inflation. From 2015-16 to 2024-25, the average rate fell to just 5%. The change in the socio-economic landscape was the result of sound policy, strong coordination with the Reserve Bank, better supply-side management, and above all, higher disposable incomes. The middle class, long hit by rising prices, finally found relief and regained confidence in the economy through tax relief. Besides lifting the lives of the middle class, India has also lifted 171 million people from extreme poverty in the last decade, as per the World Bank's recent report. The direct payment schemes like Jan Dhan played a major role. In its report, Poverty and Equity Brief on India, the World Bank said that over the past decade, India has significantly reduced poverty. Extreme poverty fell from 16.2% in 2011-12 to 2.3% in 2022-23, lifting 171 million people above this line. India also transitioned into the lower middle income category. The World Bank noted, adding, poverty fell from 61.8% to 28.1%, lifting 378 million people out of poverty. The Modi-led government's initiative to lift the poor out of poverty and also improve the life of the Indian middle class has been focused on affordable urban housing, comprehensive health schemes like Ayushman Bharat, and empowering the youth with skills. By prioritizing ease of living, strengthening social security, and empowering the youth, Modi 3.0 has firmly established itself as pro-middle class. As India moves forward, the middle class stands not just as a beneficiary, but as the backbone of the nation's growth, its dreams shaping the future, its progress defining the country's success. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Trump administration imposes sanctions on 4 International Criminal Court ICC judges in an unprecedented move. Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee outcome announcement today. Market experts forecast a 25 basis points interest rate cut. And in football, Lamine Yamal scores brace as Spain enters the third successive Nations League final.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. The simmering tensions between US President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk exploded into a public brawl filled with personal attacks and financial threats. Trump and Musk engaged in a public spat online, with Trump targeting Musk's companies, government subsidies, and Musk responding with an unsubstantiated claim linking Trump to sealed Jeffrey Epstein files. Trump lashed out against Elon Musk, saying he was disappointed by the billionaire's public opposition to the sweeping tax cut and spending bill.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair.
In response, Musk published a string of posts denying Trump's statement that he knew the inner workings of the agenda bill and claimed that without him, Trump would have lost the election. The public feud comes after Musk last week officially left his government post, where he was tasked with rooting out excessive spending through Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke on Thursday and agreed to have more talks between their trade representatives to resolve the trade standoff. The countries struck a 90-day deal on May 12 to roll back some of the triple-digit tit-for-tat tariffs they had placed on each other since Trump's administration. Trump and Xi said that trade officials from the US and China will be meeting soon at a to-be-determined location. During the more than 1 hour long call, Xi told Trump to back down from trade measures that roiled the global economy. Xi also asked Trump to handle the Taiwan issue prudently. Trump, speaking to reporters after the phone call with Xi, said that trade talks with China remained on track and were in good shape, adding that he expected to go to China at some point.
We had a very good conversation with President Xi a little while ago, just before your arrival. In fact, we just hung up and they said, "You're here." I said, "That's pretty good." Two great leaders of the world in a very short period of time. We had a very good talk, and we've straightened out any complexity. It's very complex stuff, and we straightened it out. The agreement was we're going to have Scott and Howard and Jameson will be going and meeting with their top people and continue it forward. But no, I think we have everything. I think we're in very good shape with China and the trade deal. By the way, he invited me to China and I invited him here. We've both accepted. So I'll be going there with the First Lady at a certain point, and he'll be coming here hopefully with the First Lady of China.
The Trump administration imposed sanctions on Thursday on 4 International Criminal Court (ICC) judges in a rare move. This is against the tribunal over its investigations into Afghanistan and an arrest warrant issued for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Judges Salome Balungi Bosa of Uganda and Luz del Carmen Ibanez Carranza of Peru, Rain Alpine Gansu of Benin and Betty Hola of Slovenia were targeted. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced this. He accused them of supporting the ICC's illegitimate actions against the US and its ally Israel. The ICC condemned the sanctions, calling them an attack on judicial independence. Bossa and Carranza backed the Afghanistan probe in 2020, while Gansu and Hole authorized arrest warrants for Netanyahu and other officials over the Gaza conflict. Harvard University challenged Trump's move to bar foreign students from entering the United States and asked a judge to block it immediately pending further litigation. The Harvard amended an earlier lawsuit to challenge the proclamation that Trump issued on Wednesday. In Thursday's court filing, Harvard said that Trump had violated federal law by failing to back up his claims about national security. The suspension will initially be for 6 months but can be extended. Trump's proclamation also directs the U.S. State Department to consider revoking academic or exchange visas of any current Harvard students who meet his proclamation's criteria. Trump cited national security concerns as justification for barring international students from entering the United States.
No, we want to have foreign students come. We're very honored by it, but we want to see their list. Harvard didn't want to give us the list. They're going to be giving us the list now. I think they're starting to behave, actually, if you want to know the truth.
Jurors in Harvey Weinstein's rape and sexual assault retrial began deliberations on June 5th after a judge instructed them to assess the credibility of the 3 accusers whom the defense claims were not truthful about their encounters with the former film producer. The Academy Award-winning producer and Miramax Studio co-founder is accused of raping aspiring actress Jessica Mann in 2013 and assaulting 2 other women in 2006 and 2002. Weinstein, who has pleaded not guilty, went on trial in April. The jury is expected to continue deliberating on Friday morning. Weinstein is already serving a 16-year prison sentence after being found guilty in December 2022 of a rape in California. Moving on now, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi led a team of inspectors to Damascus on Thursday to examine sites linked to Syria's past nuclear activities. The visit came after an agreement with Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara granting the team immediate and unrestricted access to relevant locations. Grossi called the mission a critical and transparent step on social media, aiming to resolve long-standing concerns over Syria's nuclear program. Footage released by the IAEA showed inspectors reviewing the sites. Syria has long faced international scrutiny for its opaque nuclear past, with the IAEA pushing for clarity. The inspections mark a pivotal moment in the dialogue between Syria and the IAEA. In some business news from India, the Reserve Bank of the country, Reserve Bank of India, will announce its second bi-monthly monetary policy of fiscal year 2026 today. The Monetary Policy Committee, headed by RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra, met this week to evaluate the repo rate, liquidity conditions, CPI inflation and GDP growth prospects for the Indian economy. The MPC is widely expected to cut the repo rate by 25 basis points to 5.75% from 6%. This would be RBI's third consecutive repo rate cut if delivered. RBI Governor's commentary on inflation trajectory and outlook on the GDP growth will be crucial given the mixed global cues amid a favorable domestic environment. And let's move on to the updates from the ongoing French Open Grand Slam. 4-time champion Iga Swiatek crashed out of the French Open after a 6-7, 6-4, 0-6 semi-final defeat by world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, ending her 26-game winning streak in the tournament. Sabalenka's power was too much for the defending champion, who was looking to become the first female player in the Open era since 1968 to win 4 consecutive titles in Paris. Meanwhile, America's world number 2, Coco Gauff, ended wildcard Louis Bosson's dream run at the French Open with a ruthless 6-1, 6-2 victory to set up a final clash with top seed Aryna Sabalenka. Gauff has reached the Roland Garros final for the second time after she lost to Iga Swiatek in 2022. Spain's teenage sensation Lamine Yamal led his country to a thrilling 5-4 win over France on Thursday to send the holders through to their third successive Nations League final, where they will face Portugal. The European champions dazzled in the first half with fine goals by Nico Williams and Mikel Merino to race into a 2-0 lead. Spain's 17-year-old starlet Yamal then added a third from the penalty spot before his Barcelona teammate Pedri clipped a sublime fourth goal into the net less than a minute later. The goals continued to flow as France striker Kylian Mbappe also slotted home from the penalty spot before Yamal added Spain's fifth goal to cap an exhilarating individual performance. France then mounted an extraordinary comeback with 3 back-to-back goals, but Spain held on to book a place in the final. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks air on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.